President Trump's big beautiful bill is in the middle of an intense bird bath. And wow, is it bird bathing? That means a lot of big ticket items that Republicans really wanted have to be cut out, including that super controversial one that would severely limit a federal judge's ability to issue a preliminary injunction or temporary restraining order against a president. So I'm going to tell you all about that and two other items that have already been ruled out in a second. But first, quickly, as I explained in this video a few weeks ago, the Senate has this wonky procedure called the Byrd Rule. It is a law that only applies to the Senate. It does not apply to the House. The Byrd Rule says if you want to use reconciliation in the Senate to pass your bill, the only types of provisions that can be included in that bill are ones that deal directly with budgetary issues. The big beautiful bill is a reconciliation bill. Therefore, it must comply with the Byrd Rule. The Byrd Rule says any unrelated or extraneous provision cannot be included. An extraneous provision includes things like items that would increase the deficit beyond 10 years or items that have no budgetary impact at all, like policy changes. They call the process of determining whether an item complies with the Byrd Rule or not the Byrd Bath. So the Byrd Bath process is still ongoing in the Senate right now, but here's what we know is out already. The big one that I know a lot of you care about is that item that would have required plaintiffs suing the president or the federal government to first throw down a huge bond before a federal judge was even allowed to issue a preliminary injunction or a temporary restraining order that would block a president's action. That would have severely limited who would be able to challenge a president's executive order or challenge the executive branch's policies, because in lots of cases that bond could be millions or billions of dollars. Another measure that has to go has to do with SNAP benefits. In the Senate version of the big beautiful bill, Republicans were trying to mandate that states cover escalating portions of SNAP costs if the state makes errors when distributing SNAP benefits. Now, that would have been a big deal because the federal government foots the bill for SNAP, and states have already said that they don't have the funding to cover these SNAP costs, so lots of people may lose their food benefits. Now, it's important for you to know that this is just one of the many cuts that Republicans are making to SNAP in their big beautiful bill. The others still stand. And the last provision I want to talk about that has to be eliminated from the big beautiful bill is the Republican language that would cut the entire $6.4 billion budget for the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Senate Republicans wanted that budget to be $0. That violates the Byrd Rule and also has to be cut out. There are lots of other provisions that have to be cut according to the Byrd Rule, but I thought those three were among the biggest that you would probably care about. Now, just because a provision of the reconciliation bill violates the Byrd Rule does not mean senators can never vote on it. If it violates the Byrd Rule, that just means that particular provision will require the normal 60 Senate votes to pass instead of the 51 votes that you would need to get it passed through a reconciliation bill. Obviously, Republicans want to pack as many things into the big beautiful reconciliation bill as they can, because there are 53 Republicans in the Senate, which means if they all stick together, they only need 51 votes, so they could easily pass the big beautiful bill without a single Democrat vote. Now, I'll keep you posted if any other big ticket items get cut out of the big beautiful bill because of the Byrd Bath. As I said, that process is still ongoing.